Welcome to Take on Tech, your weekly deep dive into the world of technology, innovation, and the brilliant minds shaping our digital future. From global trends to homegrown brilliance, we unpack what's happening, why it matters, and what it means for Africa and beyond. This week, we explore the fight for biometric rights in Kenya, revisiting the evolving dream of a Silicon Savannah, spotlighting rising stars in African innovation, and close with an inspiring story of reforestation tech that's redefining environmental action. In a landmark decision on May 5th, Kenya's High Court ruled WorldCoin's collection of biometric data unconstitutional. At the heart of the case was the company's use of orb devices to scan and gather iris data from Kenyan citizens without conducting a data protection impact assessment or registering as data processors. The message from the court was unequivocal. No company, however futuristic, is above the law. WorldCoin has now been ordered to delete all biometric data collected in Kenya under strict supervision of the Office of the Data Protection Commissioner. More than just a local ruling, this case marks a pivotal moment in the global debate over digital rights. Kenya's stance signals a broader shift across Africa towards stricter data governance, ethical tech deployment, and the protection of personal privacy in the digital age. Once hyped as the crown jewel of Kenya's tech ambitions, Konza Technopolis is gradually stepping into its make-or-break phase. The government has funneled over 50.4 billion Kenyan shillings into infrastructure, roads, fiber optics, and water systems. The groundwork is there, but skepticism lingers. The skyline remains sparse, and the much-anticipated innovation hubs have yet to materialize at scale. Yet, there's fresh momentum. A $284 million agreement with South Korea promises to establish a digital media city in Konza, aiming to elevate Kenya's creative and digital talent. Meanwhile, Telkom Kenya's partnership with Rakuten Symphony and Airspan Networks is testing Open RAN technology, paving the way for broader 4G and 5G connectivity. The Silicon Savannah dream isn't dead. It's just evolving, and its success may hinge more on long-term strategic partnerships than flashy breakthroughs. Kenya continues to shine on the innovation stage. 5 Kenyan inventors have been shortlisted for the 2025 Africa Prize for Engineering Innovation, standing out among 16 finalists across the continent. Their ideas tackled real-world challenges from healthcare and education to environmental sustainability. Since its launch in 2014, the Africa Prize has supported over 140 businesses, impacting more than 10 million lives. With up to £25,000 in prize money, this platform isn't just about recognition, it's about fueling African solutions with global potential. Congratulations to all those flying the Kenyan flag high. The inaugural Business Week Africa Summit is setting an ambitious tone for 2025 under the theme Transforming African Businesses Through Strategic Collaborations. The launch event brought together entrepreneurs, partners, and thought leaders to shape the agenda for the upcoming October summit. Founder Salma Ibra emphasized that the summit goes beyond networking.
We usually have the annual Business Week Africa once a year, annually. And what happens during the annual summit is we bring together entrepreneurs, investors, ecosystem enablers, and policymakers. So the reason why we do this is just to be able to offer a platform where entrepreneurs and the rest of the ecosystem can be able to come together and learn, network, form collaborations, and see how we can be able to grow as an ecosystem. So this year we're going to be having our business summit on the 22nd and 23rd of October. We're going to be hosting 2,000 plus entrepreneurs from across the continent, investors, ecosystem enablers, policymakers, and government officials. We're going to be having this event in Nairobi for 2 days. There's a lot that's going to be happening throughout the week, but 22nd and 23rd is going to be the main event.
Jerry Lucy from Wild International spotlights Africa's business potential in 2025 and the vital role technology plays as an enabler.
To begin with, there are aspects about tech. We are all about AI, but any business can be enabled by tech. We're talking about how do I get data for my business if I'm in agriculture? How do I grow the space of education when I'm using tech? How do I use tech in terms of collecting data when I'm trying to maybe understand my environment, so to say, when it comes to climate change. So aspects about tech do amplify any business. But over and above that, there is the humanity. We will not stop being humans. So anything that helps the human being be able to live their life better, be able to survive, if not thrive, in the climate seasons, volatility of businesses, for our own political seasons, especially in Africa, every regime is quite a change. The human aspect and the human-related businesses are also something to think about.
Entrepreneurs like Ismail Chege, a digital marketer and hopeful founder, shared how the summit demystifies the business journey by giving access to mentors, founders, and institutions ready to support early-stage businesses.
I would say that the industry is ever changing, the market is quite vast. And one unique thing I would like to benefit from all of this, what are some of the unspoken truths which are in the digital marketing world, not to mention how do you maintain your relevance, because we are in the digital world whereby after every periodic times, years, 2 years, things change. It's a matter of relearning and knowing all of the new things. So how do you maintain your relevance in the industry?
Meanwhile, another attendee raised the important issue of mental health and entrepreneurship, calling for more inclusive, holistic support.
Mental health is for everyone. It doesn't matter you're an entrepreneur, CEO, we all need it, and we need it very nicely. So I brought it up because from my experience, you cannot show up to work authentically if you're not okay by yourself. You need to show up at your best so that you can be productive. Even for entrepreneurs especially, you could be doing everything by yourself, or even if you've handled some of the matters to your team and you've given them some of the work, even for them to do your work, they need to be okay. So it's very crucial for these people to meet together, and even for entrepreneurs to understand what are those successful businesses doing for their employees so that they can continue meeting the successes that they are. And me as an entrepreneur, because sometimes I feel like it's a lot, my mind is everywhere, what are those things that I can take up personally that would help me even show up as a better boss as a leader, not even as a boss, as a leader to the people that I'm leading.
Emily from Sandbox, a partner of the summit, highlighted the need for collaboration and delegation, encouraging founders to build strong teams and resist the urge to go it alone.
Collaboration is very important for any entrepreneur, and this is because we've grown up thinking that entrepreneurship has to be a lonely journey. You have to do business by yourself. But if you think about the biggest businesses that have existed, both locally and internationally, are businesses that have collaborated together. We have mergers, we have businesses that have been acquired, and they end up prospering and growing and becoming big businesses. The Sandbox model, if you've ever heard of Sandbox, is based off of collaboration. So we have entrepreneurs in different professional services who are hosted under one roof, and they provide services collaboratively to help other entrepreneurs. So collaboration is a very big thing for us as Sandbox and even as partners of Business Week Africa, but also for just entrepreneurship as a whole. People have to work together to just see their businesses thriving and scaling and being big businesses.
The National Tree Planting Initiative aims that we plant 15 billion trees by 2030. This is part of African Landscape Restoration Initiative. So how about we take a look into how technology is coming in to champion for this? with a special focus on Jaza Miti, an innovation by KEFRI, which not only awards diligent tree planters but also guides on the specific species to plant in specific locations and also tracks the progress of the tree planted.
In a conversation with Dr. Jane Juguna, KEFRI's CEO and a forest pathologist, and Sylvester Odera, lead developer of the platform, we explore how science, technology, and community are converging to tackle climate challenges. Dr. Jane explains that decades of research revealed a key issue: low survival rates of planted trees due to poor ecological matching. Jaza Miti solved this through smart, site-specific species recommendations grounded in ecology, climate science, and pathology.
This country is known for aggressive tree planting programs or tree growing programs that include the plantation establishment, restoration, or agroforestry technologies. And over time, as I said from experience, over time there have been failures. Out of these massive tree growing programs, there have been massive failures as well, because you find that people choose the wrong species for the right site, or choosing the wrong site for the right species, and vice versa. So you find people going to plant trees. Let's use, for example, Kitui. Kitui, you have one of our dryland research centers. And most of the people you go there or want to plant tree species, the trees are probably from the highlands. So they know the trees of the highlands and they think they do very well. Then you move them to Kitui and you do a massive tree planting. Come 1 month later, those species are not there. You can't even tell there was anything, because Kitui and the highlands are completely different climatically. So in terms of sorting these issues of failures of tree growing programs, that's what has driven the different disciplines in KEFRI to help communities or stakeholders to choose the species that will fit well in the deserts, because they are desert tree species, the species that will suit well in the marginal areas, what we call the arid lands or also semi-arid lands, and the tree species that will suit very well in the humid and subhumid areas. So this is a long-term product of research in terms of also selecting. It's a process that has taken quite a bit of time. And we are coming from the National Tree Growing or Restoration Strategy towards achieving 30% tree cover by 2032. And the question that has always been, how shall we know how we are progressing? How shall we know who is doing what in what areas? So as KEFRI, with other scientists and other stakeholders who have supported us in this process, we sat down and developed this program to help understand where we are at in one time, how many trees are planted, who is planting, where and how. So in terms of now, towards the 2032, achieving 30%, the government has been very, very supportive through the whole of government, whole of society approach in terms of encouraging people and advocating for tree growing. So much of the success that we have also achieved in this, in terms of recording the number of trees that are planted, it is through the government systems, that the government ministries, the county governments, and also the communities, using the whole of government, whole of society approach. And I would like to ask you whether you have planted yours. As part of the society, you have to tell me whether you have planted yours. Your target is 300 trees in 10 years, 30 trees per year.
The app's development was collaborative, and it has already won 3 major innovation awards.
In terms of the specific awards, we have won 3 awards. I'll start with the Rhino. The Rhino is an award which we won in 2023 during Africa Public Service Day. And this award was won under the category of climate change mitigation. There were many applications that were provided or submitted during that time. But in terms of the long-term resilience of the application. How is this application applied, and what is the long-term effect of this? Because when you're choosing the right species for the right site, for the right purpose, you are actually kind of giving this species immunity of some kind to ensure that it will live to give you the products in 25 years. The second award was also won this year in terms of under the Minister of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, and still is under natural resource management, because what we need in this country is long-term solutions or stable technologies that will ensure that our investments in natural resource management, which is quite stable at some times because of the droughts, will survive and give us the products that we expect.
It even incentivizes planters with rewards, keeping engagement high. User inputs their location and environmental data, and the app suggests suitable tree species. It then connects users with local nurseries, tracks growth, and allows real-time progress updates, even offline. But Jaza Miti is more than a tracker. It's a national AI-powered platform that ensures survival, not just planting. Since its launch in January 2023, the app has grown to over 43,000 users, onboarded more than 5,500 organizations, registered 580 million trees, and mapped over 1,600 self-listed nurseries, reducing seedling losses and building a thriving ecosystem. Of course, the journey hasn't been without hurdles, from awareness to interoperability. But continuous upgrades, training, and stakeholder engagement keep the platform growing.
Currently, we are working on enhancing the species to site matching. As we speak, we have about 322 tree species included in the application, and the KEFRI scientists are working to add even more species. And rather than adding the more species, we are looking to add now, how do you plant this tree, the silviculture, how do you plant them, how do you maintain them, what are the pests and diseases that are common to these specific trees, and how do you manage them? That one is included. And when you look into the documentation of tree planting activities, we are also looking into integrating it with other existing platforms. Like you see, when now you want to do this issue of carbons and everything, you have to integrate it into maybe the carbon registry or a search platform that exists for the independent verifiers to access this information. So those are the things that we are working on right now. But when it comes to documentation, it's already accessible, and it's even open. The other day we were just testing how the platform is, like we call it open platform. How can other interoperability? How can other institutions that have similar application feed their data directly into the system? So we've worked with an organization called Earthlings and some other organizations within the government, and right now there is that element of data sharing.
What do you think about that initiative, specifically about Jaza application? Have you been using it? Have you downloaded it already? And how far are you with your tree planting progress now that we expected to do at least 300 trees this year alone individually? Talk to us at KBC Channel 1. The hashtag remains to be TakeOTech. My name is Stephanie Yeta. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, let's keep it.